Hey guys, and welcome to my new movie review for Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. In case you didn't know, this is the 7th episode in the Star Wars saga. The first movie was Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. And now, Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, came out in 2015. It is rated M and the duration is 2 hours and 18 minutes. It is an action, adventure, sci-fi movie. Episode 7 is directed by J.J. Abrams. The cast of Episode 7 is Daisy Ridley as Rey, John Boyega as Finn, Oscar Isaac as Poe Dameron, Domhnall Gleeson as General Hux. Wow! Talk about a exploding explosion of oh man, where do I start, guys? Where do I start? Wow. First of all, I want to say this movie was very evident straight off the bat with how incredibly brilliant, mind-blowingly amazing, once again, the practical effects were in this film. It was just so obvious. Like, seriously. I really, that is one of the biggest things about Star Wars that I can say that I love so deeply, so preciously, and I get why the fans of Star Wars are so incredibly passionately locked on and so thrive for these just mind-blowingly incredible movies, because they just keep bringing it. They just keep bringing it. It just doesn't stop. They get better and better and better and better and better. The tie-ins of the storyline and the flow and connecting pieces of how it just elevates and elevates and elevates throughout the sagas and storyline just keep growing and growing and growing. Like, it is just incredibly amazing to see how far they've come, specifically from technically, I know Episode 4, A New Hope, but Episode 4, in case you haven't seen any of my previous Star Wars movie reviews, go and check them out, because I've done one up until this one so far. And in case you didn't know, you're about to, Star Wars, it was actually called Star Wars when it was first made, but now it's called Star Wars A New Hope, which is actually Star Wars number 4, Episode 4. But it was originally just called Star Wars when it came out. And then Star Wars 4, 5, 6 was made, and then because of the technology, I mean, look at the technology now in 7. The Force Awakens. What? Seriously? What? Are you kidding me? Oh man. Like, far out. It is just so incredible how far they've come. To see, again, practical effects. I mean, you can barely even tell now what's CGI in these films compared to what's practical. Like, that's seriously how far they've come in these movies. They've just, like, one of the things that I was thinking about rewatching this film, and no spoilers, guys, anyone who's been following me for any period of time, I don't do spoilers in my movie review because I don't think that spoilers are fair. But one thing I want to talk to you about in this review specifically is actually a scene right towards the end of the film where the Millennium Falcon slides to a halt and it's like at the edge of like a canyon, I want to call it. And just watching that, I kept thinking to myself, I actually think that was real. And if it wasn't, maybe it was a model, maybe. And if it was real, or if there had any CGI in that at all, that was incredible. Because that got me, that sold me hook, line, and sinker. That was brilliant. So those of you who have seen Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, you'll know what I'm talking about. And those of you who haven't, and you're going to see it after this movie review because you're going to love it so much, I'm going to talk about the mid-air blaster shot. Man, I remember sitting in the cinema the first time I saw that scene, and I thought to myself, okay, all right, how did they pull that off? How did they pull that off? Because that was filmmaking, CGI at its absolute finest. I just remember thinking to myself, rewatching it, I was trying to kind of pinpoint it and pick it out, and I was looking at it really, really intensely, thinking to myself, what am I looking at here? Because I'm gonna guess it was just a lens flare, but like a still lens flare. Because if you don't know, J.J. Abrams has actually directed a lot of the Star Trek films, or at least one of them. And in that film that he did, he actually did several amount of lens flares. And J.J. Abrams is known for his lens flares, but specifically this film, maybe it wasn't a lens flare, but it felt like it was a lens flare, but it was just the technology has just grown to such a degree that now what they can do with lens flares, oh my gosh, guys. If you know if you've seen Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That episode shot, that first shot of the gun, boom. I just rewatching it, like, I know it's so simple, yet those of you who've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And those of you who haven't, when you see it, you know what I'm about to say. Something happens to the flare as Kylo Ren walks away. Something happens to it as he walks away. And it's like, yeah, okay, all right, okay. Yep, that was incredible. That was absolutely incredible. To the point where a certain stormtrooper is like really taken back by it. And, you know, they show that scene. Oh, guys, come on. Star Wars, seriously? It's just getting better and better and better. I have to say, I actually thought, and I'm guessing that this was clearly deliberate, but I thought that the introduction to Rey's character was an alien. Purely because how the first shot of Rey isn't a shot of her physical face. It's actually a shot of something else. And it was in the teaser trailer to the movie. But rewatching it, I thought to myself, wait a second, is that? And then I was like, oh, wow. Oh, okay. But the way that they've done her opening, it was like, whoa. Because you know Star Wars, guys. Those of you who have seen Star Wars and you know all about Star Wars, you'll know Star Wars has a lot to do with aliens. Star Wars is just, what do they call it? George Lucas called it a space opera, which is a really, really very clever way of calling it that. It really is. It's a space opera. Those of you who haven't seen it, you'll know what I'm talking about. When you see it, you'll be like, oh, I got it now. Yep, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. These movies are just on another level of where cinema is going. Oh man, like speaking of where cinema is going, guys, I'm rubbing my eyes because I just can't even imagine what I'm going to see next Thursday. That's when I'm seeing Star Wars 9, The Rise of Skywalker. just seeing the teaser trailers and the TV spots, I don't even know what I'm in for. Like, I really, really don't. I do, but I don't. I do because it's going to be epic, but I don't because, like, what have they got installed for us next? It is going to be mind-blowing. It really is. The age of the moving parts in the background of this movie really was the thing that showed me the age of the movie. That was what it was for me personally. That really showed me that this movie's aging is that they've deliberately made a choice to make this movie look older in the universe. And in my personal opinion, they really, really pulled that off, in my opinion. Just rewatching it, I kept thinking to myself over and over and over, I can see just specifically just how the background scenery looks. It really, really made me, okay, yeah, I see where they're going with this. I see that this movie is further on in the saga, even though it's only it's episode 7, so that's pretty deep into the saga. But remembering that 4, 5, and 6 was the first saga made, and then 1, 2, 3 was the second saga made. So it's like that. They've switched it. So knowing how far in advance now that they've wanted 7 to look, it's a really big step ahead. Specifically, how old the characters are coming into this. Now, I know that I didn't talk about the opening cast of Han Solo, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill. I know that I didn't talk about those guys purely because of the fact that the new cast is the sort of the frontlining cast of this movie, whereas those guys, they are a very big role, specifically Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher. But this is really focusing on the new generation of Star Wars characters, and the way they've done the storyline. And I'll get into Mark Hamill a little bit later in this review. The way that they've done that, I actually thought, specifically including the storyline, I actually thought that was really, really, really well executed. And I personally really enjoyed that element of where they were going with that. Specifically what they did with the characters moving forward in the sagas. It was really well done. Fun fact, Unkar Plug is Simon Pegg. Yeah, no joke at all. No joke at all. That is Simon Pegg. Yes, he is fully inside that. That's him doing all those physical, elemental characteristics and stuff like that. That is Simon Pegg. Yeah, no, for real. Yes, that is really Simon Pegg. That's a little, I don't know if that's a spoiler, but he's credited in it as that's who he was. That's cool. One of the things about this movie, and I'm not going to go into spoilers, guys, but I will tell you this. There is a lot of ginormous name celebrities in this movie that you don't know about. Yeah. If you want to know who they are, put a comment in the comment section below and say who are they, and I'll let you know. But I'm not gonna go into spoilers here. But if you really want to know, put a comment in the comment section below, and I'll let you know. Realistically, there's 1,000 million YouTube views out there, YouTube videos that have told everyone who everyone is. So you can go and check it out if you want to, but it's up to you guys. I still, to this day, really wish I knew how they turned the watery substance into bread. I don't understand it. And for those of you who haven't seen the film, when you see it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And those of you who have, yeah. I mean, seriously? Turning water into bread on a CG, come on. That was legit, man. That was legit. I don't know how they did it, but I would love to know how they pulled that off. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's in the makings. Maybe I need to go back and watch the Blu-ray and see if it's in the makings. It's possible. but I don't think it is. I really don't think it is. But man alive, I mean, that is something today, looking back at this film, that is something that I'd seriously, really genuinely love to see how they created that, because that is incredible, man. Far out. Oh my goodness, how ridiculously cute is BB-8. Oh, fuck, come on. Seriously. Like, really? Oh, man alive. Like, that isn't even... That's next level, man. Oh my gosh, that is next level cute. Something that I found that they did with BB-8 that they kind of didn't really do with C-3PO or R2-D2, especially R2-D2, specifically R2-D2, is the functionality of BB-8. Because of the fact that he was a ball, I think that's why they really threw him around a lot. And that scene with Rey throwing BB-8 onto Finn cracked me up so bad. And you hear the donk. You heard the heaviness, even though I guarantee he wasn't that heavy. But he could have been. But I don't reckon he was. But seeing them physically put him down, oh man, that was gold. But man, come on. His mannerisms and how he was. Now, I don't know if this is true. But apparently BB-8 was actually voiced by Ben Schwartz. I think that's how you say his name is. But also Bill Hader. So apparently those guys were actually the voice of BB-8, which is... Those of you who don't know, because you're about to know now, and it's not a spoiler, Bill Hader is a massively mammoth Star Wars fan. Like he imitates Jabba the Hutt. He imitates, oh my gosh, he literally is a huge, especially Wookiee and Chewbacca. He's a ginormous, huge Star Wars fan, so it only makes sense that he would have a part in Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. That makes so much sense, really does. I have to say, guys, that the new cantina scene was really, 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 really different compared to what I thought it was going to be. It was nowhere, in my personal opinion, it was nowhere near as catchy or as fun as the original, because the original, I mean, it's really, really fun. But the new one is kind of just a little bit, if anything, weirder compared to the first one. Not bad, but just really, really, really different compared to the original. It just, it kind of surprised me. It kind of surprised me in a way. And I'm guessing it was John Williams, because he scored this entire film once again. John Williams. Come on. John Williams. He's the bomb. Far out. I didn't actually realize why Darth Vader's helmet was so beaten and broken in this film. Because those of you who have seen the last one that he was in, you'll know that, Return of the Jedi, no spoilers, but the ending of that scene, you'll know what happens with his helmet. That's not what happened. That's not, do you know what I mean? I was like, wait, what? I get that, again, the background scenes, as I said earlier in this review, I get that sort of stuff is what made this movie look aged, but that scene made no sense, guys. I was like, wait, why? That's not what happened. It was, it just, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not nitpicking, but I'm just saying, to me, that made no sense. But still, it's Star Wars. It was awesome. It was brilliant. Especially so good. So good. So if you don't know, the dream sequence with Rey if you listen really, really, really carefully to the dream sequence with Rey, there is so much audible Easter eggs in that sequence. And I mean so many audible Easter eggs, you have absolutely no idea. I can't even begin to go into it. I want to so badly, but you got to hear it. You really have to hear it. That sequence, listen super, super carefully. If you go and rewatch it and listen super carefully. And if you haven't seen it, crank it up real loud, because you'll hear stuff in there like, that, and there's so many in there. I promise you, you'll be very, very, very happily, pleasantly surprised with what they've given you. It's awesome. This is one of those movies, guys, that has the key element central word, like all, in my personal opinion, all the other Star Wars films, right? That film has today, that film needs, that movies require, and that is the word that sums up film, in my personal opinion, should sum up film, in my personal opinion, and that word is rewatchability. This movie, it's one of those things that this movie needs, and man, does this have it on scales like never before. I don't know if it is on par to The Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi. I don't know if I would say that, but in terms of its storyline, yeah, it really has rewatchability, and it's so much fun, specifically at how advanced this movie is compared to the other movies. Like, it really, really, really is just so satisfying to the fans. It really, really, really is. It is incredibly satisfying. To the point where the audible score in this movie is just the biggest part of the storyline, as well as the visual movement of the character development. It really, really blows my mind at how much Easter egg is just woven into this movie. It's incredible at how much detailed passion you can see behind this masterpiece. This movie has so much incredible heart between the characters, and a massive, massive secret revealed towards the end of the movie. I won't tell you who, between who, but when you find out who it is, you'll be like, oh, so that's where they're going. And it's really, really well executed. I cannot tell you, I genuinely, authentically cannot tell you how much I loved that element of this storyline. And I know factually that it was that certain characters, it was actually his request. What happened to him, it was his request to be done in this movie. And when you see the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. Those of you who seen the movie, yeah, that was his request. But I loved the execution of it. I thought it was brilliant and really, really pulled on those heartstrings. The scene with Daniel Craig is brilliant. And everyone who's like, whoa, wait, what? Yes. Daniel Craig is in Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. He's in it. I'm not going to tell you who or where. I'm not going to spoil it, but he's in it. He's in it. Seriously. And I tell you now, man alive, his scene is awesome. Seriously awesome. Perfectly executed and so much fun to watch. Oh my gosh, I love that scene. I absolutely loved how real this movie looked, because there's nothing worse than watching a movie of this, epicness, I'll say, of this caliber, and just seeing it and it looking so fake. There's nothing worse than that in a movie this big. I mean, this mammoth, It just looked real. Even though I don't even know what was CGI in this and what was real. But whatever was real and what was CGI, I couldn't tell it apart. And that is the absolute fun that we get as film fans to not even be able to see. Like, was that real? Like, as I said, that Millennium Falcon, when it comes to the halt, you'll see what I'm talking about if you've seen the movie, and if you haven't, you know, you'll see. It comes to a halt, it stops on something, and you're like, and I just kept, after seeing that, I was like, I'm pretty sure that was real. If it wasn't real, that was a model. And and if that was CGI, come on, really? Oh, no way. That's awesome. That is awesome. Star Wars Episode VII, The Force Awakens, actually has a brilliantly executed misdirect. And you're like, wait, misdirect? How did it misdirect? Because the scroll opens up and it talks about something, and the storyline is headed for someone, but it actually is like that, towards that person. And you kind of forget until right at the end, no spoilers, right at the end, you're, oh, I forgot about that. When that is revealed, oh man alive. Did fans just go, oh, this is really happening, oh my gosh. And then what happens right at the end is like, wait, no. Really? They're doing that? They're seriously? Oh, no way. And honestly, seriously, guys, when you see it, if you haven't, when you do, and those of you who have, you know what I'm saying. Whoa. And I don't want to give anything away, but I want to say something right now, but I'm not going to give it away. No spoilers. No spoilers. Those of you who don't know, now you will. This line is in every single Star Wars film. Every single Star Wars film. I've got a bad feeling about this. That line, and here's the glyph, there's the GIF. That line is in every single Star Wars film. Literally. Every Star Wars movie that they've ever made, that line is in it. Now, for my movie review that comes tomorrow, for Star Wars The Last Jedi, that's the only film out of this entire Star Wars episodes saga that I have a really big problem with it. I really, really do, specifically with that line. In my opinion, it wasn't in there. But I'll talk about, when you watch my review, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I'll bring it up, I'll talk about it, because I wasn't a fan of it. Anyway, guys, those of you who have been following me for any period of time ever, you know that I love movie trivia. I really, really, really love movie trivia. So guess what time it is? Trivia time. Mark Hamill claimed George Lucas deliberately told him over lunch that a new Star Wars trilogy was going to be made by Disney. If he did not want to be involved, Luke Skywalker would be simply written out of the script. However, Hamill immediately agreed to reprise the role. Hamill admitted, however, that he pretended to also be nonchalant about it. So it didn't seem like he was excited at all for the role. He also said within 5 seconds, Kari would exclaim that she would do it and asked if there was a part for her daughter. Next, in a real-life parallel to the film Fanboys Film 2009, Mark Hamill and John Boyega successfully lobbied director J.J. Abrams to allow Star Wars Fleetwood to see the film before official release. Fleetwood was diagnosed with terminal cancer and was not expected to live to see the release of the film December 15, 2015. Fleetwood was shown the film in his screening in his house after Disney agreed. Fleetwood died November 10, 2015. Next, when Finn and Rey ask Khan if he is Han Solo, he replies, "I used to be," which is reply to Ford regularly uses when fans ask him if he's Harrison Ford. Next, the first J.J. Abrams film to not have the score by Michael Giacchino. Funnily enough, Giacchino stated he would rather hear John Williams' score than his own. Next, And I'll leave you with this one, guys. John Williams received his 50th nomination for scoring this film. Ah, how good is that, guys? Star Wars. Woo! So good. Oh my gosh. Thank you, seriously, guys. Thank you for everyone who has subscribed to my YouTube channel. And if you'd be so kind, I'd love your subscription to my movie reviews. That way, just building my reviews up. It's so awesome to see how many of you have already reviewed and subscribed to my movie reviews. I value it so much. Those of you who haven't, if you'd be so kind to go ahead and subscribe to my channel, it'd be amazing. And don't forget to click the bell for notifications. That way, when I drop anything straight away, it'll be yours on your device. You guys are amazing for that. Thank you, seriously. You guys are incredible. Don't forget, if you appreciate my reviews, I'd really appreciate your thumbs up. That way I know that you're valuing my content on my channel. I really, really respect that. Thank you seriously for that, guys, so much. And if you have seen Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, leave your comment in the comment section below. What did you think about it? Did you think it was as brilliant as I did? Epically amazing? Are you as excited as I am for Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker? And don't forget, tomorrow I'll be dropping Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. So stay tuned for my channel for that. And if you hit the link, you'll see it straight away. It'll drop straight away. Thanks again, guys. Don't forget who's bringing this movie review to you guys. This is Superman Steve, guys. Flying out.